So this is going to be a very short video, but the purpose of this video is to actually show you some of the questions that they may ask in the exam pertaining to action potentials. So let's look at the example of this question over here. Now you have an axon, and in the axon the membrane voltage was measured using special types of electrodes. You don't have to memorize that part, okay? So and what they did was they stimulated that section of the axon, and the membrane potential difference was measured after the stimulus was given. And over here, I'm drawing out the graph. Y-axis is the membrane potential, millivolts, negative 70, negative 55, positive 30, and then it's over a period of time. Okay. Now, under normal circumstances, if you remember, the axon must have a resting membrane potential of negative 70 millivolts. We've talked about this so many times in the previous videos. I am also going to put a link on the top right corner. So if you don't understand why it's negative 70 millivolts, you can go and consult that video. Now, 4 stimuli were given and the membrane potential difference was measured. All right. So these are the results, and S1, S2, S3, and S4 are the stimuli. Now, my first question to you here is as follows. Even though 4 stimuli were given, how many action potentials were generated? So you see, you have 4 stimuli, S1, S2, S3, and S4, but which stimuli were able to generate the action potential? Only 2 action potentials are seen over here due to the stimuli S1, stimuli 1, and stimuli number 3. Now, the question over here is as follows. Why did stimulus number 2 not generate an action potential? So they may ask you that kind of questions. Like you say, the axon was given stimulation at point number 2 over there, but it did not generate the action potential, the depolarization and repolarization wave. So why is that so? Well, the answer is because perhaps, so in the question, if they ask you, why did S2 not generate an action potential? You can say, the stimulus was too weak. That's 1 mark. It was not able to reach the threshold potential. And the threshold potential is about negative 55 millivolts. And if you do not know what the threshold potential is all about, top right corner, there is a link for that too, okay? So go and see that. So remember I told you that the threshold potential must be achieved before it's able to generate the action potential or the nerve impulse. All right. Now, what about S4? Now, I'm going to make life a bit difficult for you. S3 and S4 are the same strength of stimuli. That means S3 was strong enough to generate an action potential, but why did S4 or stimulus number 4 not generate the action potential? Well, the answer is because the stimulus number 4 was given during the refractory period. During this period, no matter how strong the stimulus is, it is not able to generate the action potential. Okay, so the axon is unresponsive. I told you before, during the refractory period, the axon is unresponsive. So even if you were to give a stimulation during that time, no action potentials will be generated. So as you can see here, even though 4 stimuli were exerted on the person only felt 2 of them, which is marked by the 2 action potentials. That's what it means by this. So I hope you understand this part of the graph and the question as well.